I just wanted to tell you a bit about my book. I've written a book. Hands up. Has anybody here written a book? Okay, good. Just I'm really glad. Does anybody here go to the library? Is anybody a member of a library? My Auntie Pearl, is anybody here 8? My Auntie Pearl, when I was 8, took me to Dudley Library and she said, come with me now. Why are we going to Dudley Library? Come, stop it. She took me to Dudley Library and she made me join. And because there were no books in my house, my mum was suspicious of them. And so I wanted to find out what all these books were. And the librarian showed me around the children's section. But I was really interested in that. The grown-up section seemed to be much bigger, much more mysterious. There was much more going. So when you get to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, you'll be allowed to go into the grown-up section. And it's really good. I found out when I was 14 just how good it was. But the children's section is brilliant. There's loads of books there. Just William Jennings, The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Have you heard of these books? Yeah. The Lord of the Rings. Hello, my friend. We started 45 minutes ago here. So I read all these books and I loved them. But you know what was weird about these books? There was nobody that looked like me in them. And even when I was reading books to my daughter, Billy, when in the 90s, back in the day, when she was little, there were no brown or black kids in the books. And I just thought, well, I've got to sort that out. Exactly. Yes. I've got to sort that out. You think I could write a book? So when they asked me, in the lockdown, if I would write a book, I said, yes, I will. Because I had loads of ideas. And one of the ideas was about a boy with wings. And I wanted him to look like me when I was this big. He's about 12. And I wanted him to be called Tundi, because I've got a mate called Tundi. And he's not Nigerian or anything, but he is black like me. And he's got a weird looking nose, and he's got dark skin, and he's got curly hair, and he's adopted. And I wanted that because my daughter was adopted, and she never encountered adopted kids in the stories. So I wrote it for my daughter, even though she's 30 now and says, Dad, leave me alone. So he's adopted, he's black, and he's being bullied at school. Anybody bullied at school? Well, do you want me to come around and sort it out? I will. I wanted Tundi to have to overcome problems at school. And what's great is, when Tundi finds his tribe, his group of friends, you can overcome anything. When you've got your mates around you, you can overcome anything. So make friends, it's really important. And because I did at school, I was bullied at school and called names every day for at least 2 terms until I found some jokes. This guy kept pushing me over the playground and we were rolling around in the playground. And one day a bell went off in my head and I looked at this bloke while he was punching me and I said, you must really fancy me because we're always rolling around on the floor. And my mates laughed like you did, and suddenly he realised that it was stupid and he started to leave me alone. He still beat me up, but after a while he stopped. So would you like to hear a bit of the book that inspired all of this? Yeah. Now I'm going to read part 1 of the book. No, somebody said, right. Thank you. So this bit is Tundi's 12th birthday party. His mom's called Ron, his mom's called Ruth and his dad's called Ron. And this is about rules. When your parents make rules for you. And Tundi's very lively and his parents start to lay down rules and he doesn't know why. Okay, you ready? Are you ready? Yeah! And he'd say, yeah! Yeah! Tundi's parents had always been reliably, irritatingly, consistently, boringly the same. But when Tundi turned 11, they changed. Not in big ways. Ruth still cooked her eccentric, weird meals, jerk cashew nuts and seeds, locust trifle, ant pie, and Ron still potted in his oversized, genetically modified vegetable garden. They still thought their son was the best boy in the world. They still tell him stories about all the great people out there doing great things that look like him, and all the ways he could make himself and them proud. And both Ron and Ruth insisted that being kind was the most important thing and to ignore the bullies. But Tundi had an inkling, just a gut feeling, he knew that something was very wrong. They were treating him differently, always watching him. When Trinity caught them staring, they'd look away guiltily. Even weirder, they'd stopped teasing Trinity, and Ron had even stopped making his pathetic knock-knock jokes. Trinity missed him so much. One day he went out to Dad in the garden, scratched his head, hitched up his pants and said, "Dad, Dad, Dad! Knock, knock. Who's there? Dishes. Dishes who? Dishes the police. They have the building surrounded." And the silliest and Trinity's absolute favourite, "Knock, knock. Who's there? Etch you. Bless you!" But after a couple of half-hearted attempts, his dad just stared at him and said he had to do some work before dinner. His mum seemed more tired too. She was still loving, still made him do homework and moisturise his skin with Vaseline and condition his hair, but something seemed off. She looked sad. "You okay, Mum?" asked Trinity one night when they were stacking the dishwasher. "Of course, love," she said. "Just tired. Lots of work." That was true. His mum was working very hard. She put in lots of late nights at the facility and at home in her computer room. She was a scientist. But something still felt wrong. And then suddenly there were all these weird new rules. His parents had always liked rules, but before they'd always made sense. There were rules like, treat people or you want to be treated, or light up by 9, or never eat yellow snow. But now there were new ones, like Trinity wasn't allowed to run anymore. The minute he turned his 11, his mum and dad had simply forbidden it. And Trinity loved to run. When running, his face would light up like the illuminations of Blackpool. He would have a mild, wide grin on his face, and the faster he ran, the more he smiled. It was the one thing he could do better than anybody else. He tried convincing them with a cheeky grin. "It's your knees," his mum said. "They can't handle the strain." "And your toes," said his dad. "They're all wrong for running. It could cause long-term damage." Trinity stared at his knees and his toes, baffled. They looked perfectly normal to him. "Why not just try a gentle jog to see?" he said. "No!" yelped his mum and dad together. "And why not?" said his mum. "No jumping, skipping, hopping or throwing, and don't pick up anything heavy." Trinity said, "But how am I going to explain that to Mr. Grierson? He'll notice if I stop doing PE." He was scared of Mr. Grierson, who was built like a block of flats. "You can do PE," his mum said, "just slowly, without any running." "But Mum!" Then his dad crouched down and looked Trinity in the face with a serious expression. "Trinity, this is very, very important. Do you understand? You are not to run or do any sport for the foreseeable future. Promise us." Trinity promised, even though he didn't understand. Because he loved his parents, he did his best to keep it. But as the months went by, Trinity grew jealous of his classmates. He kept showing up to watch football, cricket, hockey, swimming practice, but it wasn't the same without being able to join in. It was frustrating. Do you think he keeps his promise? You have to read the book to find out. Does anybody want to ask any questions before I do signing and stuff? I'm going to do one more reading, but I'll take questions. The person up there with the white thing on. Well, what's really good about this is it's called The Boy with Wings. I said, why don't we keep the wings a secret? They said, no, don't keep the wings a secret. In fact, we're going to call it The Boy with Wings. So they know up front that it's a boy, only with wings. So I had to then think about it, because if you're giving away the big secret up front, it has to be a compelling reason for him to have wings. And I hope I've done that. Would you like to hear the chapter when the wings appear for the first time? Hang on a minute, kid. I'm doing my best. The wings appear during a football match. Tunde's playing for St. Pritchard's, which is his school, and he's managed to get into the football team. And it's amazing, he loves football. The school bully, Quinn Patterson, is in the football team too. And this is what happens when they're 4-4 down. Do you want to hear it? It's 4-4. Yeah. Finally, just minutes before full time, the scoreboard read 4-4. There was everything to play for. But then the ball landed at the feet of Quinn Patterson,